Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something foundational, building a REST API using Spring Boot.
That's right. We've got a small piece of code here, and we're going to really unpack how a simple web endpoint gets built with it.
Exactly. Think about how, apps talk to each other online. This is step one. How do you even start that conversation?
And Spring Boot is super popular for this in the Java world. It simplifies things a lot.
Okay, so let's look at this code. Right at the top, above the class, we have @RestController. What's that doing there?
Right. So at RestController is key. It basically signals, hey, this class here, it's going to handle web requests.
Handle requests, okay.
Yeah, and specifically, it's geared towards APIs where you're sending back data, not like a full web page.
Data like JSON.
Exactly.
Yep.
It actually combines two other annotations, at controller, which marked it as a web handler, and at response body.
At response body.
Yeah, that one tells Spring, whatever this method returns, send that directly back as the response body. So at RestController just bundles those two together, makes it convenient.
Got it. So it's a shortcut for API controllers, keeps things clean, maybe separating the web part from other logic.
Precisely. You want that separation, especially as things get bigger.
Makes sense. Okay, next line down, still before the class itself, we see it request mapping, AP. What's the role of this one?
That sets up a kind of base address for all the endpoints inside this class.
A base address, like a starting point.
Yeah, think of it like a folder. All the specific actions defined in this controller will live under the AP path. So AP something, AP another thing.
Okay, so it helps organize the different API calls we might create later.
Exactly. Helps keep things tidy, maybe even helps with versioning down the line.
Right. Now, let's go inside the class. We've got a method, say hello, and above it, @GetMapping, hello. Let's break that down.
Okay, so at GetMapping is very specific. It links an HTTP GET request to this particular method.
A GET request. That's when you're just asking for information, right? Like
Yeah.
typing a URL in your browser.
Exactly that. It's the most common type. You're requesting data. So GET request to Appify because of the @RequestMapping/hello.
We'll trigger this say hello method.
You got it. That specific path and that specific HTTP method, GET, are now wired to this piece of Java code.
And there are other annotations for other actions, I assume, like saving data.
Oh, absolutely. You've got @PostMapping for creating data, @PutMapping for updating, @DeleteMapping for removing. Each matches a standard HTTP verb.
Cool. Okay, so the request comes in, get appy hello, the say hello method runs.
Yeah.
What does it do in this example?
Well, in this super simple case, it just returns a plain Java string. Hello, Spring Boot.
And that string.
Mm.
That's literally what gets sent back over the internet.
That's it. The client, whatever made the request, receives that text as the response.
Simple enough, but in a real app, it wouldn't just be a static string, would it?
Oh, definitely not. Usually that method would maybe talk to a database to fetch user info or calculate something or call another service.
Right. Perform some actual work.
Yeah. And the return value probably wouldn't be just plain text either. It would almost certainly be formatted as JSON.
JSON. Because that's easy for machines to understand.
Exactly. It's the standard language for APIs these days. Structured data.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the core pieces we saw. We need @RestController on the class.
Yep. Marks it as an API request handler.
Then @RequestMapping, potentially, to set a base path for organization.
Like APR. Correct.
And then specific annotations like at GetMapping on methods, linking a URL path and HTTP method to our code.
Precisely. Like hello for GET's requests goes to the say hello method. That's the fundamental pattern.
It seems pretty straightforward for a basic case.
It is. And that's the beauty of Spring Boot. It makes getting started quite accessible. But you can build incredibly complex systems on these foundations.
So thinking ahead, you mentioned at post mapping, at put mapping, at delete mapping. You could build endpoints to manage, well, anything really.
Absolutely. Think about creating new users, updating product details, deleting comments, all using these same basic building blocks but different HTTP methods, and likely involving sending data to the API, not just getting it back.
And handling more complex data, like sending JSON in the request and getting JSON back.
Exactly. That opens up a whole world of possibilities for building interactive applications, mobile backends, microservices, you name it. It all starts right here.
Fascinating how these simple annotations create those pathways. Definitely gives you something to think about regarding how applications connect.
It really does. The foundation for so much modern software interaction.